Oh my God. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
I don't know how to follow that because I don't have a history lesson. I don't know anything about anything. And that was so beautiful, Malvika. Thank you so much. I feel like enlightened. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Ghinwa. I'm gonna read some old stuff and then some new stuff. And I hope you like it. And if you don't, that's okay. Adroit Journal died this morning, and I was shocked because I learned about it on Instagram, which is a horrible, like, that's just horrible that I have to say that. It was, I know I don't think, like, ethnically she was Lebanese, but she lived in Lebanon for a long time, and she was, I guess, culturally Lebanese, and she's a lesbian, and I'm a lesbian, so that was a very, like, big, you know, moment. And I always had hoped that I would meet her, even though she was super old, but same thing that happened with Toni Morrison. Here we are, not meeting anyone. So anyway, yeah, it's okay. So I have, I'm super grateful to be reading to you guys. I have a Lebanon poem that I'll read first, and then I'll read a couple others, and this is for today, this is for Etel. It's called Birth During a Ceasefire. Beirut aglow, blue neon of a prayer bead, every 2 decades reborn. My grandmother sweats her out like a night of drinking. Around her, the city swarms with smoke and future martyrs. My mother arrives without a doctor, early witness to a blockade. Young platoons comb Beirut's capillary alleys, suck from ruined cigarettes along the cleft lip of the Corniche. A country's worth of optimism trills their newfound baritones. In earnest, they shout brother, embrace, clap shoulders open-palmed. My grandmother marries an anxious lieutenant, sleeps with his pharmacist, addicted to solutions. Empty apartments infested with boy soldiers, mites, refugees, leap from one landlord to another. July chaperones an inward pilgrimage. How troublesome impatience, a drink left on the balcony rail to fall, a woman in heat pacing, flat stones skipped and drowned, small bodies unrecoverable. Woo! Thank you, thank you. This is from this is a newer thing. I'm sorry, I'm very short, so I'm always like conscious of how short I am. This is called Make Believe. This is from a newer. I forgot my rose-colored glasses, so that
they're
we can
beautiful.
See the so nice things.
Do you have to take them off?
I mean, I could leave them.
Leave them on. We love them.
They were $8 from the streets. All right, this poem is called Make Believe, and it's about a lot of actually what Malvika was talking about, like the first world, what we feel in the first world. So this is Make Believe. When I wore my mother's gold, I resembled a knockoff from Bleecker, something almost itself, made more fake by its proximity to the real. There is pity in an imitation, true, in the unanswered want. What did we look like before our mothers? Asks anyone who doesn't have one. What did our countries look like before America? I wore her perfume to come see you, an expensive bottle I'd bought for her myself. On the train, I felt like a baby with a fist in its mouth, formless and harmless, good smelling. It seemed absurd, especially then, to call Arabs anything more dangerous than what we are, all pseudo-Frenched, highlighted, sparkling under eyeshadow like a bomb. Still, nothing is more American than a gas USA, a Pakistani on the register, a Palestinian beneath a minivan in the garage. Men with large noses tend to lie. We're told sometimes a man is just a man. A bad man can become a theology. I bulked. I learned to wear a bra and go to work. In America, I smoked outside the church and repented the same day. I got off at your stop. My pants had baby written across the ass. God bless the United States, said a man who wasn't from here. There was music in the street touching something deep and terrible in me. My hands reached for the dollars my mother had given me for lunch, green paper that could, for us, spell the future in stars. The face of a slaveholder featured on each one. I handed it to the new American slave, the white man with veteran on his cardboard. His eyes remembered me from another life. See? Nothing is as American as our cruelty, manufactured in bulk. Here is the difference. I can still admit I love my Eid, its walnuts quenched in rosewater, its sonorous prayers, the salty smell of my mother, the person I embrace first on each new year. tears and sweat and all of us grateful together. Tell me you feel the same towards your apple pie, your casseroles and Christmas, and I'd sing America back from its slumber. When I'd met you at last, the telephone wires hung between crosses in twin rows under God, and smokestacks emptied their dark filth into the heavens. They stood as tall as the proudest men I knew. But I was a monster then. I was an other. The glory of the good country before me like an omen, opening its black belly like a wave. So this is the last one, unless I don't know what time. I didn't time myself. Malvika, you can just start clapping.
You're perfectly on time.
Oh, thank you, God. This is also new. So this is called creation myth. This idea that, like, you know, we're all of the deities that we have are males, and that didn't sit right with me, obviously. So I wrote this. Yes. So this is called creation myth. I need a drink. They have They have Rittenhouse here, you guys. This is great.
Ooh.
Highly recommend. All right. So, and this is based on the Christian, you know, a rib was taken from Adam, and then Eve, you know. Okay.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Listen, okay. As a scientist, I'm just kidding. So frustrating. All right. So Christian myth. The truth is, there was no rib. No breath of life, no clay. There was your wax skeleton coagulating into its stencil, and I was the garden. And beneath my rib you lived and ate for 9 months, and called my womb Eden. I formed your bones from my bones. My blood too became yours. The truth is you were an animal body, like any other, like the pheasant, like the serpent, like the hornet on the fig leaf. And the truth is there was no father. In the beginning there was, and it would always be me, the bounty that birthed and raised you. Remember, you called all this earth mother, but when you learned to read, suddenly Allah was he, God was his, the sacrifice always a son. Listen, there was no fruit, no rules for fruit to avoid, because have I ever made a thing and told you not to eat it? It was me who fed you first, and from my body. What did I make that wasn't meant for you? There was no apple, no pomegranate, no citrus bulb that granted you knowledge. The truth is the tree was a cedar, and the cedar brought you all good things until you nearly made it extinct. It was the cedar you hammered into boats, and the boats you took to trade, and trade brought you an empire, and the empire bought you from yourself. And the truth is, yes, I played favorites, I spoiled you. Abundance was the sin, not knowledge, not theft. And abundance is what you learned from me. Abundance like I cried and it flooded. I forgot the stove on and it filled the sky with burning stars. I said be, and accidentally it was. You chased the tails of comets then and charted them as if to ask me why me. But what did I know then? I was 15 and alone, a virgin in a red state, a rape, someone with no people, no mother, just a manger and no choice. Did I do that right? Isn't that the language you invented to feel sorrow, feel pity? Anything but disgust for me, for your mother, your sister, every girl on your news. You'll want to know that Eve came first. The garden was full of Eves, and it wasn't until a son demanded an orbit of his own that paradise was ever lost. Listen. Resonating strongly in there. Listen. The truth was there was no week, no seventh day I did not rest. My work was done and not done and ending, and you built a temple and resented me. You made rules and you broke them and hid as if it wasn't my back you'd spawned on, as if I didn't know you. And you called me every name and painted me any color and praised me while in the same breath smiting me and never once admitting, even on the high note, mother. The truth is you still repeat the same mistakes every day, every era, in the loop and axis around the sun, around your sons. The truth is, it was all true. There was Eden in its glory. Eden, the first woman you would ever disown. Wow.
Okay, then.
Thank you. Thanks so much. That's super nice. Thank you. You don't have to clap. I have.